company.
Okay.
Just a minute. I'm CTO of Wise Advice Tech company, and so RPA is one of my interests, and I have my own project named RPA. Probably we will try to develop it on foreign market, but for now it's quite hard. And one of my responsibilities is ERP implementation projects. So in my career, I have lots of ERP projects from small companies to quite large companies. Most of them was based on 1C technologies. And nowadays I'm CTO, so I'm responsible for IT stack in common. So not only 1C nowadays.
Thank you. Thank you, Oleg. Nikolai, you're welcome. I'm giving you the floor.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Nikolai. I'm an IT project manager for more than 10 years. I'm mostly working for the FMCG companies or pharma companies. And my specialization kind of business intelligence project that's business analysis and corporate reporting.
Thank you, Nikolai. Welcome on board. Damir, if you're ready, give me a sign and introduce yourself.
Yes. Good evening. I'm Damir. I'm CEO of Business Culture Company, and ERP system is not our product, but we have a product nearest to ERP, is CRM for retail and other service companies like medical centers and others. And our system includes some modules, and one of them is BI and customers accounting, customers.
Okay.
I think Damir is broken up.
Okay. Damir, can you hear us? I'm afraid you're breaking up. Give me a sign when you're ready to come back, okay? Okay. Olga Fedorina, happy to see you. Can you briefly introduce yourself if you're ready?
Hello. Customers.
Oh, Damir is back. Great. So we'll listen to him firstly. So, Damir, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay, sometimes you were breaking up. Yeah, now we can hear you. Go on, please.
What did you listen the last?
About BI in your CRM system.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, BI, customers records management, and communications modules, mobile software for customers of our clients, and other.
Thank you. Welcome to our speaking club. Olga, I'm giving you the floor. You're welcome. Introduce yourself.
Hello again. I'm just an IT recruiter, so I need to know about different ERP system, and this information may be very useful for me.
Okay, so welcome on board. Victoria Yershova, happy to see you. Can you briefly introduce yourself as well?
Me?
Yeah, we are introducing each other. So
yeah, hello.
you're right in the middle.
Yeah. Well, hello everyone. I'm Victoria Yershova. I'm software developer, 1C software developer. Well, and I'm very interested in RPA technologies. So
Okay.
that's all.
Thank you.
And in English
Tatiana.
also.
Great, we know that. Tatiana, if you're ready, join us and introduce yourself, a couple of words about yourself, okay? If you're not ready, give us a sign. Okay, so let me introduce myself if we didn't.
Hi.
Oh, Tatiana, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So just a couple of words about yourself to know you better. Oh, seems like Tatiana left us. Okay, so I'm Evgenia Hafizova, CEO at Across, and I'm particularly interested in everything related to IT technologies and finance because we dive into this sphere area and do our courses to meet your specific needs. Besides teaching, we also specialize in IT translation localization. For example, currently I'm working on ERP World Edition. I'm helping to improve its localization, comparing it to native vendors and bringing better localization to Russian products. So welcome, let's start. Okay, and we also have one more participant, TSI Phone. Can you introduce yourself, please? I don't know how to address you correctly.
Oh, sorry, that's me. That's again Tatiana. I re-entered the meeting and haven't named my account. Sorry for that. And regarding ERP systems, I'm a project manager, and I participated in projects of implementing ERP systems. Usually, that's Oracle e-business suite.
Great to see representatives of different products tonight. Yeah. So, and maybe guys, let's get down to business. Today we'll try to have a round table. It's not going to be an expert presentation, or kind of. And maybe my first question will be just, what is RPA? The simplest one. Yeah. Tatiana, can I ask you, what is RPA? Do you use it in your products nowadays? Okay, who wants to help us?
So I think about RPA, I can help, of course.
I can speak days and nights.
Yes, I can speak all the day about ERP systems. So about RPA systems at RPA platforms, especially so. When we're talking about RPA approach, some kind of people usually say that, yes, I know what is it. It's the technology when some software just click my screen and push the buttons on my screen and write something on it. So it can be true or false. Especially the user action simulation is one of the main parts of any RPA solution. But what's the difference between the RPA solution and some kind of clicker, some kind of software like Selenium for web automation, like AutoEat for desktop automation, and so on? So the first difference is RPA, it's not a technology, it's some kind of approach. When we focused on employees, on people, and we just want to automate everything that people can do. So in case of ERP solutions, we just provide an analysis of people actions, the picture of all work day of some employee, and after that we implement several robots who can do the actions instead of some employee. And the main difference is that RPA approach is a complex. So if we need web automation, we use some kind of Selenium or web selector. If we need desktop automation, we use some selectors on desktop, and in some cases it can be how to eat especially. If we need some kind of very complex automation, we can use just the computer vision technologies, just to make a screenshot on what we see on the screen, and after that we can press some buttons and provide some actions. And RPA itself, it's some kind of approach when we don't focus on processes, re-engineering processes, and so on. We just want to provide people some good things to reduce their work, to reduce their routine work. And that's all about it.
Thank you. Anything to add here, guys? Maybe your point of view who differs, your examples of RPA, sorry, in your company.
May I ask a question to audience? So I know that probably all of you don't hear about RPA, of course, but does anybody hear something about such products as UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism? So it's a three base product of RPA field. Have you ever heard about it?
Yes, I heard.
Oh, okay, Vika, I know that
yeah.
you heard something about
but
it.
maybe
Even
yes,
as,
something else.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I can provide probably some screen information to let this discussion be more complex, just to revise what RPA is. Okay, I will not show something about RPA because I think it's not a good approach for me, but I'll show something about UiPath. What is it? So if we see some kind of UiPath, we can see just a designer. We can record video, we can record user actions and then provide these actions instead of user. I think better approach will be maybe some YouTube video instead.
UiPath has a bunch of activities that
yes,
helps to mimicking the sequence of user sections.
Yes, I think UiPath in all these companies have lots of marketing activities because it's a market leader itself. So in this video, they just record what people do in Excel, then he do something in PDF file, then he do something in email, and so on. So we see the one business process and several different systems. To integrate all the systems in one process, it can take us about 3 or 4 months with standard automation. So we just need to know API of some complex ERP system to get
write integration.
Yes.
And using RPA, we can perform this integration using just recording of action.
Yes, just so just 5 minutes, and they get the robot who get the file from ERP systems, then read Excel file with the recipients list, and then send several emails.
Alec, why don't you think that you should show one RPA? Why not? Because I think in one RPA it's more obvious to see how to build a robot, and it's using graphics.
in our approach. So when we talk about something, I think common approach is better not to sell something what you usually sell. Not to talk about your solution. It's better way to explain some technology in common. So when I explain some technology in common, even if I'm a vendor of some product in this technology, for example, for accounting suite, for trade management, I usually get the market leader, because market leader is usually higher position than myself, and explain it on case of market leader.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Oleg, for your explanation. Damir, I'd like to listen to your case as well. How exactly do you use RPA technology in your CRM system? Maybe briefly, yeah?
Okay, exactly. There are no RPA technology in our system. And as I understand, when we have a big company with set of different IT systems, and some of them are legacy, and we have no time, resources to change them to new systems, which allows to automate different workflows out of box. We can use RPA to automate some processes, and RPA technology use user interface to make some automations which cannot be made programmatically. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think you understand the main idea, right? It's a usual case for large companies, but nowadays, so I think there is Oracle representatives here, or she's gone.
No, Tatiana is here.
Tatiana's here. Oh, okay. Just remind. Several years ago, several or 10 years ago, there were companies with only one stack of systems. For example, if you choose Oracle vendor, you use, for example, CRM system from Oracle, ERP system from Oracle, then service desk system from Oracle, everything from Oracle. It's a common approach, it's a usual approach, and it was quite helpful. Same way we were used 1C in Russia, especially. So we use CRM, trade management, accounting suite, and so on from 1C. I think the same way is from SAP. But little, and it's quite simple to integrate a different system from one vendor. You can integrate them with one team, but I think the world is changes now, and so there are lots of services, lots of online services, and the companies who use only one vendor technologies like an Oracle, SAP, 1C, or something else. So there are few companies which use only one service, and more integration needed. We can use some cases of Zapier or enterprise several service buses for this, but it's not all systems exist in Zapier even. So colleagues, does everybody know what Zapier is?
Zapier.
Zapier, yeah.
Okay.
Or I can explain.
No.
I can explain what Zapier is. So just take a look. I think it can be quite useful. Instead of using RPA, sometimes there is another approach to use Zapier. It's online service in all over the world. It's quite popular. It can integrate everything with everything, and so so there are lots of connectors from every system to every system. For example, Gmail with Dropbox, with Slack, with Redmine. So in my case, there was Redmine, every system, Jira software. So your track. No, your track. Oracle, I think there will be no Oracle. No Oracle in Zapier, so such strengths in
Salesforce, maybe, definitely.
Salesforce, definitely yes, and Asana especially. Yeah, so lots of integrations inside one service. But anyway, if you need to integrate 3 or more technologies, one of them legacy, as Damir said, so especially in legacy technologies, RPA could be quite useful. But some IT specialists say that RPA is some kind of not good solution, so not appropriate for all the projects, and has no future in some IT specialist opinion. What do you think about it? Has RPA some future or not? Maybe will it be developed in future, or probably it's not appropriate for ERP implementation, especially?
What do you think, guys? Oleg is taking the floor. Okay. And maybe I have also another question, because Oleg has just announced that nowadays companies are moving from a single vendor approach to multi-vendor approach, and a lot of well, tight integration between different vendors is used. Maybe Nikolai will have something to comment here. Yeah, do you agree with this approach, or do you have something to oppose?
You mean approach to move from single vendor to several vendors?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some pluses and minuses, of course. So the definitely pluses, you can usually vendor has specialization on something, any single feature, he's doing the best. So when you can choose few vendors and distribute features you need between them, which probably should be the best solution from features point of view. And if ERP fixing the integration part, that's a good approach, I believe.
Okay. What about the future of RPA? The question that Oleg has just asked. Damir, what do you think?
As I think, main benefit of RPA technology is flexibility, because we know everything is
Okay, Damir, can you hear us?
yes, sorry, incoming call. The main benefit of RPA is flexibility, because everything in our life changes very fast, and if we will do full integration using programmers, it will be very expensive, very long, and but using RPA, we can automate some things, very simple. I remember one case when our customer asked us to make a robot which fill form on some web resource, and robots should fill big form from data in Excel file. And we done this job, and we use Selenium. Oleg told about this, and I think that RPA solutions is quite good solution for those kind of tasks.
Thank you. Thank you. If we talk about ERP systems or maybe CRM systems as well, yeah? Victoria, you're quite an expert in ERP systems, yeah? So I'm going to ask you, what exact operations, maybe repetitive operations, we can automate using RPA systems? And what's the difference between RPA and just automation? Can you give us any examples of successful RPA approach in ERP systems?
Vika is not on the line for now.
Okay.
So in my practice, when I was not so familiar with RPA approach, I have had one project which was saved, especially ERP implementation project, which was saved with RPA approach. There was especially there was SAP project. So the SAP project was quite large, and implementation was prepared by the consultant company, quite big consultant company, and people from consulting company came to me in personal discussion just to discuss what they can do with the log in their project. And the log was the following. There was internal team who was responsible for some kind of legacy systems inside this company, and this team was full booked for a year in future, and integration with the system was a necessary part of ERP implementation project, and ERP project can't finish without this integration, because it was quite quite important part of this project. Then people from this consulting company came to me, and we talked a little bit what can be done with this thing, and it was quite large integration. So the system was responsible for all logistic and transport inside this large company. I can't name it because it's some kind of famous company in Moscow, especially. And after that, we decided to find some RPA approach, and RPA approach was really consist not only of Selenium one, but Selenium with desktop automation, with computer vision somewhere. And they created several robots which helped them to integrate SAP with this large legacy system. The in-house team of who was supported the system was full booked, and so the project was successful. Otherwise, the project was the company was discussing how to cancel this project, because it takes a lot of time.
So it was a question of life and death.
Yeah,
Almost.
it was question life and death. Yeah, sometimes RPA really helps to save some ERP implementation projects.
To survive. Okay.
But still, Okay, you're welcome.
And what about the speed of working this kind of integrations? Not speed of implementations, but data transferring speed.
If we talk about only just a robot who get data from one system and then manually enters this data to another system, it's of course speed is much lower than we can see it usual. But so RPA is just approach which can use some technology of emulating user action, and we don't need to stay only with user action simulating. We can, for example, we need to transfer SAP data to some legacy system data. Or better approach, we need to transfer some legacy system data to SAP. So
Better.
first, yes. So first case how to do this, which junior RPA developer usually uses. We just read one record from a legacy system, then enter it to SAP, then read a second record from legacy system and enter it to SAP. So it's usually not a really speed integration. Sometimes it's enough. Sometimes it's really enough for several reasons. But what can we do otherwise? So even a legacy system usually provide some interface to download data. For example, we can use interface of this legacy system just to save the data to Excel file. So we developed a robot which save data to Excel file. Then same robot enter SAP and upload data from Excel file. So, and this approach usually work. So not so quick as API integration, for example, but quite quick, and usually it's enough.
Can I ask a few questions?
You're welcome. Sure.
Okay. So I'm really curious about how implementation is going on of RPA solution. There are two questions I'm really curious about. The first question is how much time is taken to learn robot to work as a human, right? Because you need to learn him to do some things.
Teach, you mean, yeah? Teach.
Yes.
Teach here. Okay.
That's kind of machine learning. That's the same.
Okay.
And the second question is, what is going on if robot is making mistakes?
So, okay. First question about teaching the robot. When we're talking about RPA, we usually say such word as RPA robots developer. So machine learning is used inside RPA, but it's not a common approach nowadays. The best vendors call this process, it's process mining. When we use machine learning to create robots, but it's not a common approach. So process mining, it's some kind when you just record all the actions of your employee, for example, and then using process mining technologies, you can get the data that, for example, your accountant every day get the same Excel file and do the same actions with your Excel file. So it's a common way where machine learning is using.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. That means robot can do right now. Robot can do only simple actions without analyzing.
Yeah. Robot usually builds simple actions without analyzing. So we can implement some machine learning technologies inside, but usually it implemented quite carefully. For example, Okay, for example, you have service desk system and you need a robot instead of first line specialist who will classify your service desk tickets to infrastructure development and something else. In this case, we can use machine learning, for example, to realize that this ticket is using for as is classified as infrastructure ticket. But it's some kind of development. You can easily implement machine learning in your systems within the RPA technologies, but RPA technologies is not artificial intelligence or machine learning itself. It uses these technologies and can let you easily implement these technologies in your stack, for example. So,
okay, thank you for an answer. That's if answering the second question about mistakes of robot, that's mean there is the chance that the robot will do something wrong, and there need a human probably or someone who will analyze the final result, right?
yeah, you get the main idea right. So when you, but if we talk about mistakes, it's two kind of mistakes. So first kind of mistakes, it's mistakes in algorithm. It's a usual approach when we have machine learning inside. So we need to teach our model several times. And the second type of mistakes, for example, when you change user interface, for example, your robot was working with some SAP or 1C form, then your developer changed this form in your release, and in this case, robot will be broken. For this purposes, robots should have special alert systems that it is broken, it's failed, and you will receive the special messages. But anyway, mistakes and errors in RPA, it's a normal situation. So
okay.
it's usual, and you just need to build a system the way that mistakes is possible.
That also means that the company like yours who's implementing such robots, they also provide service to support robots, right? In case of
yes, in some cases we provide service support, but to become a robotic process developer, it's not so hard. If you implement RPA in quite big company, they usually decided
to support
to support this in-house, because so just to try RPA once and you will love it, and you will find out more and more processes that can be automated without large IT projects. So probably as IT specialists, you will not love it, because it's all about business, it's all about users. Even as for me, I don't like RPA too, because there are lots of mistakes, lots of support, and so on. But when we talk with business users, they also love RPA, for example, the same way as they love low-code solutions, for if you know what is it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Oleg, for your explanation. Still, maybe I want some more examples of operations that we can automate. Damir, maybe you will help us with CRM operations. What like lead capturing, maybe, or creating lead, I don't know, profiles in CRM systems. How can we use RPA in CRM systems?
Oleg told about classification of
leads classification, yes.
Lead classification, yes. I think it's very useful. For example, our clients often use call centers, and they need to process some incoming calls. And if a robot can respond speech and understanding some keywords, the incoming call may be processed by specialists which know this term more than other specialists in call center. I think it's one of useful case, but as I understand, RPA, it's question for Oleg. What is the scale of using RPA in your project? As I understand, it's a very dotted technology, and we can use it on only in some dotted automation automation points when we can't use old classic technologies of integration, of classification. I'm right, or RPA in your mind will be used more and more in future?
So when we analyze, and so in our company, I think RPA, but in our company, if I say about Wise Advice, it's accounting outsourcing company. Of course, we have lots of routine process, and we have wide using RPA solutions. That's why we developed our own platform, because UiPath, it's very expensive platform, as you know. So in our case, we usually have the following discussion for every product. For example, business user came to us and say, we need to integrate with, so today discussion was about marketplace. For example, we need integration with Ozon marketplace to get the accounting documents from Ozon for our clients. And we have lots of clients, and we need to build integration with Ozon. But we need to build about 10 plus integrations with Ozon, because we have 10 plus different kind of client systems, especially Oracle and SAP too. And after that, they usually ask, so how much will it cost? And we usually answer, so if we choose RPA, it will cost you 3 days to develop, and then about 1 day of support time, one day of support time a month to support this integration. If we build API, it will take us about a month for develop, and probably 1 hour of support per month. What will you choose? And sometimes the right choice is following. First of all, we develop RPA approach, and we use and implement them. And in some sensitive cases, for example, for large client with large requirements, or large requirements to responsibility of process or something else, we develop integration with API. And when we don't need API, we stay within RPA approach, and it's okay, it's normal. For example, we have a Sberbank integration with API and Sberbank integration with RPA solution. So we have both integration. But nowadays we are using RPA for Sberbank because API is paid and quite expensive. And the second one, because Sberbank changed API 3 times per year. in last year, and changes in interface was only once. So in case of Sberbank, RPA approach more stable than API one. So in our company, we widely using RPA. It's not only dotted automation as the usual term. But anyway, there has some limitations, and not for all cases it's appropriate. For example, if you have a nuclear station, I think no RPA approach on nuclear station, and so on.
Okay, if we talked about some public services like Sberbank or Zone, when they have a paid API and some customers use RPA to make the same functionality but without any payments, we can meet some kind of capture maybe, and other which makes RPA is not applicable to implement
so
this solution.
Capture solutions in today's year of artificial intelligence is not completely block for RPA approach. Most of services, for example, Headhunter ones, Captcha solver from AI is working quite stable and quite well. Anyway, there is special services for Captcha solver, which is also paid, but it's not so expensive as for example, Headhunter API, who can solve Captcha with 100% guarantee for you, and they work in the following way. So first of all, artificial intelligence working and trying to solve Captcha automatically. If artificial intelligence fails with Captcha solver, then become so then time to work of some Indian guy, I think, Chinese guy, I don't know, whom they used, and he solved Captcha instead of you. And Captcha is shown not so often to let this a big problem. So we are very experienced in Captcha solving and parsing these sites.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? I have mine as well. So you're welcome. Okay, then going back to ERP systems and RPA technology or platform inside it, yeah? Do you think, guys, that modern ERP must have RPA integrated or inside it, how we'd better call it, yeah? What is the future of ERP and RPA? Do they go together? Your opinion.
Yes, I think every modern ERP should include a RPA model, because ERP always have integration with much kind of systems, and most of them systems, not most, but many of those systems are legacy. And in our projects, we meet situations when there are no IT specialists which knows these legacy systems, but those systems contain many data which is necessary to ERP, for example. And classic solution is extract data from sequel of some kind of legacy system, but structure of database is not well known for current programmers working on this project. And if ERP have RPA model, it will be very useful for this kind of situations.
Okay, thank you for your opinion, Damir. Any other opinions?
I can also agree with Damir, but I think with some additions. I think ERP vendor should have an RPA solution in their ecosystem. Every ERP vendor should have the RPA solution in their ecosystem, but the RPA model inside ERP, so I will say strange words, but I think it's not a good idea, probably RPA as a module, because before you start implementing ERP solution, you should try to focus on analyzing all ecosystem inside organization which you want to automate, and try to find out the standard approach to integrate with all legacy system and use RPA only in cases when you can't integrate with API or some kind of standard approach. And after all, after you implement a new ERP system, you can just add some integrations, but separately from ERP implementation. You just analyze the workday of all employees and say that, oh, there are lots of routine operations in your field, and okay, we can automate some of these operations, and it can be simply a good bonus to employees who working with large and painful, usually painful for regular employees, a product of ERP implementation. I think something like this.
Anything to add here, guys?
Maybe let me to comment a bit. Maybe as ERP systems is quite large and it's scalable. Maybe yeah, I think ERP and RPA will be live a long life, but as a module, maybe not. I think it's became more developed RPA approach when it's differ than ERP. I think this way, and we also, as ERP is scalable, I think we can use more and more module of ERP to automate almost all business process of organization. And just in the final stage of maybe automation of all company, we will use RPA approach as a final tool.
Thank you. And maybe the last question for today, guys. What are other modern ERP trends and maybe future ERP trends besides RPA? So we've mentioned today just RPA, but are there any other trends for 2022 and further? Question to everybody.
Yeah, machine learning in integrating machine learning technology more and more in ERP. I don't know.
So I trying to find out the special paper from Ghana. Yes,
yeah.
we just can
As usual.
read the special trends. So it's I think it's a paper which should be read by all IT specialists every year. So it's most popular IT trends, top strategic technology trends for this year, and all of these trends are linked to ERP systems, of course, and I think in nowadays for ERP systems, most appropriate is data fabric, but not only data fabric, but we can say about data lake. Several years ago we was talking about DVH technologies and so on, and nowadays it's data fabric trend and data lake trend, because ERP system usually in the middle of this trend, and it's core data of all the company. So nowadays data engineer and data analyst is usual persons in all modern organizations. Of course, cloud native is a modern trend. Neither Oracle nor SAP following this trend, and no one see, of course, but we have some kind of modern ERP systems, something like Zoho system and Xola system. I think it's future competitors of
And Workday.
Yeah, I think it's future competitors of Workday and Salesforce systems, of course. Yes, and probably Zoho and Xolo, it's really cloud native solutions, and they are really beautiful and flexible system. And you see Zoho is #3 in Gartner Magic Quadrant, so it's a rapidly growing solutions. And old school monolithic ERP system systems seems to be in the past, the future. For the several years. So now there are no Oracle representatives here, so I can say this.
But also there are actually opinions that it's just more profitable to have a cloud-based ERP system. Finally,
yeah,
it's
but
cheaper for you to have perpetual license in an in-house solution. Isn't it just about business and more money?
So several years ago, I told why cloud will win. I told it before all this happens, before 2015 year, because so just take a look. If you developed only one software, you will earn money once for this. You don't need to manage it. You have no request for managing it. You have no request for regular payment. So you just have less money. If you developed cloud software, you have regular payments, and you can hire better developers, so develop more features and take more clients. Anyway, better developers, better personnel is sound like a winning ones, even if on-premises solution is cheaper. So it doesn't matter, in my opinion.
Do you agree, guys? Time to wrap up, but still the last question.
Cloud is win for now. On information security purposes, it's only one that stops large enterprises from moving to clouds.
Anything to add, Nikolai, Victoria, Damir?
Clouds became more flexible, and yeah, has much more flexibility, functionality. Yeah. So
Especially in cloud, you want machine learning. Okay, just few clicks and you have machine
yeah,
learning.
and also backups. Yeah. Of your infrastructure can be quite. You can do it more quickly. You can do snapshot of your virtual machines, and that's all. Easiest way.
Yeah, of course. So just take a look. For example, it's several years ago, all that was stopped me from going into cloud, this was because we are in Russia, so we have 152 law and some kind of regulation, and we can't use Amazon and we can't use Azure or GCP. Now just take a look what we have in Yandex Cloud. It's all local solutions. So for example, message queries, okay, cloud desktop, which is VDI, okay, just a few clicks. DataSphere, it's Jupyter Notebook, machine learning, okay, it's all in. Data streams, it's about data lake, just a few clicks, LOU, so data streams, Green Plum, and Kafka. So you can build data lake in a few clicks, not only for large enterprises. You can build data lake for a small company, for small solutions. Enterprise search, Elasticsearch. Okay, just a few clicks, nothing more. So nowadays we have locally in Yandex Cloud, even in Russia, all the services which IT specialists need to build amazing IT solutions.
New horizons. You open a new horizons. Completely
yeah.
new.
Several years ago, I thought that machine learning is quite hard to implement. Now just a few clicks in Yandex, you have model, you can learn the model and provide, for example, API gateway. Yeah, API, they call it this way. So it's quite simple. And you don't need lots of developers, DevOps, and so on. So I think it's modern trend even for ERP solutions too, because if you place ERP solution in such cloud environment, you can add lots of services, lots of integrations inside it.
Only today I've heard, I was a participant of Yandex Cloud.
Today
and
was,
1C today, yeah. It was quite great.
I have performance review all the day, so there are lots of employees.
I can send you a link if you want.
Yeah, link for record will be quite useful for me.
It was quite interesting, really.
So guys, time to wrap up. Time to go to bed. Some people.
Not to bed, maybe.
Ooh, we've got plus 1 hour here with Damir. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure. And I think we enjoyed our speaking club today and investigated more about RPA in ERP field. Do you have anything to add?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Niti.
Thank you, Oleg. And thank you guys for joining.
Thank you, Nikolai, Damir, Vika. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, you